Hi, everyone. I'm the head of agentic AI and product research at Toyota. I have Kordel joining, who's the head of AI engineering. So in 2023, when generative AI just changed the world, and inside Toyota, 65,000 people, multiple factories, and one question that we have is, what do we do with this? We are the enterprise AI team. Every AI use case that's going to production comes to our team. So one standard, one platform, no chaos, no duplication. The problem is nothing existed before that could be what we want to do. So we opened up a blank repository in our GitHub and built it ourselves. So this is the story today I'm going to talk about. I'll show you how we built ToyotaGPT, a platform that ships AI agent in very few days. Then Kordel talks about connects with our Toyota production system and how LangChain, LangGraph, and LangSmith is really useful today in our ecosystem. That part really surprised you. Let's go. So in early 2023, every team at Toyota rushing to build their own chatbot. Same ingestion, same extraction, same pipeline. Multiple duplicate things are coming up. So no security standards, no architecture standards. Pure duplication at an enterprise scale. So what we stepped in, and our job is to stop that. So be the platform every AI agent built. The pressure was real. The timeline was yesterday. So what we need to do? We need to go for work. So one RAG chatbot at Toyota used to mean 6 engineers, 6 months in the early days. Not because AI was hard, because everything around it is hard. Security reviews, architecture sign-offs, and ingestion plumbing across the multiple data sources and rebuild from scratch. So our delivery was stuck in months. So that gap, we decided to close it permanently. So 4 days, we built a dynamic graph creation approach on LangGraph. Give it the use case, give it the data connectors. The entire graph builds it automatically. So React agents, deep agents, everything plugged in. So no security review, no architecture review. It's all reviewed at once because the architecture never changes, the security never changes. The only difference, every AI agent we built is just a config file. So 6 months became 4 days, 6 engineers became 1. That is not an optimization. That's a different way of building. So the thing that kills every AI agent before it even starts is the extraction. The bad text in, the bad text out. Our data at Toyota is brutal. PDFs, Words, Excels, CAD files, AutoCAD, you name it, we have it. Scan manuals from 19s, Toyota tables inside tables, inside tables, inside tables, inside images. We have a complex data sources that we have in Toyota because we have Japanese, we have English, we have a lot of different languages. You name the format, we built an extractor for it. So layout-aware parsing and OCR with vision. Schema mapping, every source, one unified index. And we built it ourselves, cutting enterprise license costs. So LangGraph at the core, thanks to Harrison Chase for building the great framework. LangSmith for observability, vector databases, SharePoint, and TMNA cybersecurity team baked in from day one, working with us. Every agent inherits this and exposes via API. ToyotaGPT web, internal apps, factory machines, robotics, which uses LangGraph in the background, vision language action models, and everything runs on top of this framework. The pipeline is LangGraph and end-to-end routes dynamically by source type. But the concept I want you to take home is skills. A skill is a unit of intelligence. We do 2 things nobody else does at scale. 1, enterprise-grade skills shared across every agent. 1 library, no drift, no duplication. And 2, we generate skills automatically from an unstructured data. We have terabytes of data sitting in our databases. Feed in these documents, the pipeline synthesis. Skills emerge without a single engineer writing them by hand, and on top, a unified tool layer, MCP-compatible. Every tool secured for any AI agent. You want it, it's there. It's secure, already done. So today, over 50 plus agents are in production, every single built on ToyotaGPT. Every one is a config file. From battery brain on the Plan 4 and Tukura, the long-term memory of the entire enterprise, a Toyota way, Toyota's culture and principles codified into an agent, and to vehicle AI expert that tells about every Toyota model, every spec, every history, and all queryable in seconds. Let me walk you through a few to show you this platform actually makes most possible. GearPull. GearPull started as a hackathon idea. One of our team members, Braden Buffett, had a vision. What if every manufacturing engineer could just type their problem and get the answer instantly? Today, GearPull sits on terabytes of data in our vector databases, serving every manufacturing plant across North America. Here's the reality is replaced. When a production line engineer goes down, an engineer walks to a bookshelf and pulls a manual, flips through the pages, manually searching all the information, and fix the problem. That takes hours and sometimes days. But if a production line stops for a few hours, we lose millions of dollars because we are not making cars. So today, type the problem, get the solution in 10 seconds. From a hackathon idea to millions of dollars savings. That's GearPull. R&D GPT. This is close to my heart. Every color you see in Toyota on the road, we created that from scratch. We created the paint from scratch. That years of R&D testing in extreme colds, extreme heat, to make sure the quality doesn't degrade. A year, sometimes 2 to 4 years. Today, R&D GPT learns from decades of our own past research. Deep research is really helping us to solve that. Now, techniques emerging from old knowledge. What we take multiple years, no compression, because of our own institutional knowledge is now searchable, connectable, and queryable within seconds. And then, KadyaGPT, the design agent that lives inside the tool designer, already uses new car designs, existing parts, existing designs, can query best practices, find references, identify patterns, without even leaving their canvas. So, zero context switch. The AI is just there in the workflow exactly where it needs to be. When we started our journey with Harrison, nothing existed with us. We built the entire ingestion, we format from PDFs, from Kadya files. The LangChain really ecosystem came into the life, and then we built the framework using LangChain, LangGraph, and deep agents. Dynamic graphs automatically populating. We built the skills engine, intelligence that generates itself. We built the tool layer, MCP ready, enterprise secured. We took a hackathon idea and turned it into a terabytes of production. 50 agents, multiple dollars of savings. Built from zero, from scratch. So we learned every single thing that's happened. So we didn't wait for the industry to catch up. We went ahead and built it. So now, Kordel is going to show us something genuinely surprised us, everything we built. Toyota invented the philosophy behind it, I think, factory floor in 1988. Kordel, it's yours.
Thanks, Ravi. Toyota is arguably the best automotive manufacturer in the world, and by extension, one of the largest and best hardware manufacturers. And it got there through something called the Toyota Production System. The Toyota Production System, or TPS, is a philosophy, a framework for building a lot of anything really, really quickly and with really minimal resources. So by extension, it's a philosophy on how we can build vehicles in a manufacturing line with very leanly, with minimal staffing, minimal resources, make a manufacturing line modular, make it robust so that it's amenable to breakdowns, and keep continuous flow from raw materials all the way out to when a car comes out the other end of the manufacturing line. It's the principles for TPS are really the backbone for any scaled hardware manufacturing line that we see today. It started with Toyota. It's been fashioned over the course of almost 100 years, but really became formalized in the 80s, as Ravi mentioned, in order to help Japan, who had a lot fewer resources in North America, compete in a North American automotive front. And TPS is kind of the backbone for all hardware manufacturing today. And we see a very similar manner on TPS with LangChain. LangChain is the modern backbone for which all next-generation software and agentic workflows will be manufactured. The principles from hardware manufacturing translate really well into agent manufacturing. It's just a matter of the substrate or the matter that we're manufacturing. And so this has been a really pleasing and quite an awesome experience, not only to use LangChain's products, but to become more embedded in their ecosystem because they embody the ethos from which Toyota was founded and all of the principles that our team shares that we work with every day. So a couple principles of TPS that are pretty obvious to identify with LangChain is the Andon board. The Andon board in manufacturing is a way to see what's going on really quickly without having to survey the whole manufacturing floor. What's broken down, what needs supplies, what's going well, where can I allocate resources in order to bolster another part of the manufacturing line that's dwindling. And LangSmith is the literal embodiment of an Andon board. We can see observability over all of our agents in real time, understand what tool calls aren't working, what features should we focus on for the next PR, for the next product release, and what's going well with our users. What are the frustration points? How do we better serve our users and appreciate our software? LangSmith is the direct analog for the Andon board. One term you all are probably familiar with is the term of Kaizen, which is continuous improvement through slow and steady, but consistent modifications. And the software engineering culture really embodies that. We're always pushing PRs, we're always bolstering the new products, and we push updates regularly, sometimes nightly. The great thing about Kaizen is that from a LangSmith perspective or a LangChain perspective, there's really a macro level that Kaizen is being implemented and a micro level. From a macro level, the software is always improving. Harrison just announced a bunch of new features today that are going to be a huge advantage to the ecosystem that's already been published. But then from a micro level, there's agents that are continuously improving. A very rudimentary example might be the React agent, something that's always monitoring its output and continuously improving it to make sure before it presents to the user the final response, it's actually correct and it does what the user intended. So this philosophy of continuous improvement through steady changes and consistent changes is something we embody with Toyota, and we're delighted to see with LangChain throughout the whole ecosystem. My personal favorite is the principle of Jidoka. Translated literally, it means automation with a human touch. And what LangGraph does really well is it automates a lot, or abstracts a lot of the nuances and monotony that, as an engineer, I don't want to have to deal with, or I don't care to deal with. But it keeps me in the loop. It keeps me plugged in so that I still have value as a human, and that I can still guide the product as it's being developed and deployed. And Jidoka is really like a handshake deal between AI, automation, and a human to say, I understand each role that you play, and I understand we're going to have to adapt as technology progresses. On a manufacturing line, Jidoka means that a human understands we need automation in order to manufacture things very leanly and very efficiently. But as technology evolves, a human's role will change because that automation will change. But a human is still critical to ensuring high quality of products and delivery to the final customer. So yeah, LangGraph is a literal embodiment of the Jidoka principle, which we love. The next term is Genchi Gembutsu. So this means to literally go to the source and understand what's going on. Try to figure out the root cause of the problem. Like, don't just, we can't figure things out on a Teams call. If there's a manufacturing issue in Texas, we can't sit in California and try to figure out what's going on. The best way to solve the problem is to go to the manufacturing line, actually touch the hardware, understand the root cause of the problem, and then proliferate the solution throughout the rest of the manufacturing line so that we Kaizen the remedy. LangSmith traces are a direct embodiment of Genchi Gembutsu. For every query that I have, every tool call, I can see the entire trace, the entire route to the solution, and if there's an issue, I can see exactly what caused it. And so it breaks out from the Andon board by giving me a direct direct insight into what the problem is for any one of my products, my bots, my agents, and helps me as an engineer not have to sift through logs or spend a lot of time debugging. I can go directly to the problem, try to solve it, and keep our products up and running for our customers. LangChain is a direct embodiment of the Toyota Production System philosophy. And while the framework is timeless and TPS is the bedrock for all hardware manufacturing today, it hasn't been well translated into software or agentic the manufacturing of agents. But until LangChain. LangChain carries the legacy of TPS forward to allow all of these principles to be carried over into manufacturing of the new era of software engineering. And so I'm really excited to see where LangChain is going to go because our cultures are so similar, and I fully believe that in the next few years, and actually probably now, the entire AI industry will look to LangChain as the TPS or the LangChain production system, the bedrock from which all of these SaaS services, companies, et cetera, the entire industry is built on.